everyone for being here today. We're going to talk about digital black and white conversion, converting a color image to a black and white image using Photoshop CS5 or CS6. Additionally, we're also going to go into a little bit of some techniques and tools you can use once you've made the conversion to make your photos look better in black and white. Before we get started with the conversion, I want to talk about adjustment layers first. Most beginning photographers tend to use the image and adjustments functions to make all of the edits on their photos. Things like adjusting brightness or contrast or color balance. And while this works on the photo, it's not the best way for you to edit an image. The reason that is because when you do that, you're making all of the changes directly on the image. And so if you want to go back and make a change, or you don't like a change that you've made, it makes it very, very difficult to go back and reverse what you've done, because all of your changes are right there on the image layer itself. Adjustment layers are really the best way to edit a photo. What they do is you can use an adjustment layer to change things like brightness and contrast, and then color balance or levels, or any of these aspects that you would normally change directly on the image. You do that in individual layers. And by doing so, you can go back and retweak your adjustments, or if you really don't like what you've done, you can delete an entire layer. None of the changes that you make, the modifications, are going to be on the image itself. So it's very easy to go back and undo what you've done without doing any damage. So this is, I'm using Photoshop CS6. All of these instructions will also work in CS5, and in some older versions, most of these techniques will also work as well. CS4 and CS3, I believe, a lot of this will work, but not necessarily the way we're going to convert. So let's start with the adjustment layers before we get into the conversion. Making an adjustment layer is pretty easy. Let me open an image here. This is the one we're going to work on tonight. If you go up to the top to the layer menu, you scroll down, you're going to see New Adjustment Layer. And then you'll see over another menu will pop open with a lot of different selections. And let's take a look at what you have here. You have brightness and contrast, levels, curves, exposure, vibrance, hue and saturation, color balance, black and white, which we're going to get to in a minute, channel mixer, and down at the bottom, selective color. Let's look at the selective color adjustment here, and we're going to click OK. If you look over here to the right, what happened when I selected that adjustment layer for selective color, a new layer appeared. Here's your background, and that's the image file. And then above this is a new layer called Selective Color. And then also you get this dialog box that gives you a lot of different functionality for making different changes within the photo. We're going to get into this more a little bit later on. I'll go through, I'll show you another adjustment layer. Do brightness and contrast. And you can see that you have a brightness and contrast control here, and then another layer here. So, and if you don't like what you've done, you can right click on that and delete the layer. Let me show you. Let's say Let's use the selective color here, and I'm going to sort of make a mess of the photo just to show you how easy it is to go back and correct your mistake. So we don't like that. You look at it and you say, oh, that's horrible. Let me get rid of that layer and start again. Right click on it and just delete the layer. And you see everything that you just did is gone. You can go back here again and do another adjustment layer and start all over. That's the beauty of the adjustment layers, and you can just stack your different layers on top. Let me open a few here. And then go back and make changes anytime you need to. When you save your file, you can save your files in a way that it allows you to keep the layers. And that way, even, you know, a year from now, if you want to go back and re-edit a photo, you still have all of your adjustments here. And then this little button here will open the properties. This is saturation and hue. You can change your hue, desaturate it, or add saturation to it. Brightness, the same thing. This is the way you really should work on all of your images when you're in Photoshop. Because otherwise, you know, as I said before, you really don't have a lot of control over your images once you've made a lot of editing decisions. The only other option you have when you make modifications directly on the file is you have to go through the history. This is the history menu. You have to go through and delete individual edits that you did. And it only holds a very limited number of items in the menu. Okay, so those are adjustment layers, and that's what we're going to use when we make convert to black and white. So let's move on to that.